You know, student loan debt is a huge problem for millennials, but it's now a serious problem for people in their 50s, 60s, and beyond, too. So joining us with really alarming information and important advice, we have Simply Money's Amy Wagner. Good morning.
Good morning. Of course we expect,
if
you're in your 20s or 30s, that you might still have college debt. But the alarming statistics are 6.4% of people in their 60s have college debt, and we're talking to the tune of the average of $23,000. And what a lot of people don't understand is that when you get to the point where you're claiming Social Security, if you've defaulted on a federal student loan, they can garnish up to 15% of that, take that away from you to pay back those loans. So it's a huge problem, and we see it getting only worse and worse.
So how are seniors accumulating all this debt?
Right, well, 75% of them have co-signed on a loan for either a child or a grandchild, right? You love this person, you're used to helping them in any way that you can, but you have to understand, if you're co-signing on a loan, you're taking on the same amount of debt with them. So if, say, your child or grandchild gets out of college and they can't find a job or they decide to do something else, they can't pay those loans off, it's on you.
Right.
And that's what a lot of people don't really understand.
So what's a good strategy for folks who might be in that situation?
So a 529, if you want to help, which is a tax advantage college savings plan, is one really good way that you can save money and then not actually have your Social Security or, go into debt when you're in your 60s. And another idea too is that you have to just talk to your grandchildren or your children and say, and there's a Simply Money rule that we live by about college, and it says, when you go into college, figure out what you're going to do, hopefully, before you go to college. Whatever that is, say you want to be a teacher and you're going to reasonably make 25, 30 grand out of college. Well, you can't incur more debt over the course of those 4 years, and you can reasonably expect to make that first year out. So $100,000 in student loan debt, and you're going to make $25,000 or $30,000. Those two things don't work. So some of these are just real, open, heart-to-heart conversations that you have to start having with your children and your grandchildren. We know you want to help them, but again, you cannot go into your 60s and into retirement into debt. And that's what we see a lot of people doing.
Speaking of that, you can't save for your retirement.
No, so you've got these two things, right? These children who need help, and then your own retirement. And a lot of people are choosing college, and you have to understand the average Social Security check, about $1,400. So 90% of single Americans are living, or 50% of single Americans are living off of 90% of what they're getting is Social Security. So ask yourself, $1,400, can I live off of that?
Enough?
Yeah, and if that's not enough, then you have to start aggressively saving right now to get to that point where you have enough money. And you have to understand, if you're choosing between college, think about it. There's scholarships, there's financial aid. For college, there is not for retirement. So no matter what your age is, you have to start thinking about that.